Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
I must be dreaming.
Wow, can you believe a single woman could cause such a stir just by wearing leather and throwing punches on TV? Honor Blackman was no ordinary actress. She shocked the world with her bold style, fearless stunts, and a life full of secrets that would make anyone gasp. Let's dive into the incredible story of a woman who broke all the rules, from the streets of London to the big screen with James Bond, and lived a life so wild it's hard to believe it was real. Honor Blackman was born on August 22, 1925, in a rough part of East London called Plaistow. Back then, the neighborhood was tough. Families like hers lived in cramped houses, and many kids didn't have enough to eat. Honor's dad worked hard as a statistician, crunching numbers for the government, but money was tight. Their home didn't even have an indoor bathroom until Honor was a teenager. Can you imagine that? Growing up, she played in streets scarred by bombs from World War I, and life wasn't easy. But even in that hard place, there was magic. Honor loved going to the local library, where people told stories and read poetry. When she was 9, she went to a library event and heard poems that made her heart race. She said it felt like finding a secret door to a new world. That moment lit a spark in her. She wanted to perform, to bring stories to life. When Honor turned 16 in 1941, the world was in the middle of World War II. London was being bombed, and food was rationed. For her birthday, her dad gave her a choice: a shiny new bicycle or lessons to speak clearly and act. Honor really wanted that bike to race the boys in her neighborhood, but she picked the lessons. That choice changed her life forever. Her teacher, Mrs. Marion Cody, taught her about Shakespeare and other famous writers. She saw something special in Honor and told her dad to send her to a big acting school called the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. It wasn't easy for her family to pay for it, but they made it work. Honor started classes in 1941, even as bombs fell on London every night. She was determined to chase her dream. But Honor wasn't just a dreamer, she was brave. At 16, she took on a dangerous job that most girls wouldn't even think about. She became a motorcycle dispatch rider for the government. This was during the war, and her job was to carry secret messages across London while bombs dropped from the sky. She rode a big 500 cubic centimeters Norton motorcycle, zooming through dark streets with no lights because of the blackout rules. Other riders called her Top Gear Tessie because she was so fast and fearless. One night, she rode 120 miles in a single shift, dodging danger to deliver secret codes. On April 14, 1943, she braved an air raid to get important information to a hospital. That ride helped keep soldiers safe, but she never bragged about it. 4 years, no one even knew how brave she was until she wrote about it in a book much later. After the war, Honor started acting. Her first role was in a 1947 movie called Fame is the Spur, where she played a maid. But something scary happened on set. During a scene with horses, one stepped on her long hair, pinning her to the ground. If it had stepped just a little closer, it could have killed her. She was rushed to the hospital with a cut on her head and needed surgery to fix her scalp and eyebrows. Honor laughed later that no stunt she did after that ever scared her as much as that horse. She was tough, but life wasn't easy. To pay for her acting classes, she worked long hours at a government office, sometimes up to 57 hours a week. She'd study by day, work at night, and commute through dark, dangerous streets. One night in 1944, she handled over 1,000 messages during a bombing, staying calm even as the windows shook. She was so tired she sometimes fainted, but she never gave up. In 1946, Honor got her big break. She was an understudy in a play called The Guinea Pig. One night, the main actress got sick, and Honor had to go on stage with no warning. She'd never performed in front of a big crowd before, but she was amazing. Critics said she was confident and magnetic, like she was born to be on stage. Soon, she was getting bigger roles. By 1950, she joined a group called the Rank Organizations Company of Youth, which trained young actors. It sounded glamorous, but it was hard. She earned just $10 a week while others made much more, and the studio controlled everything she did. The pressure was so intense that in 1954, she had to go to the hospital for 3 weeks because of anxiety. But Honor kept going, starring in movies like Quartet and So Long at the Fair. She was building a name for herself as an actress who could do anything. Then came the role that changed everything, Kathy Gale in a TV show called The Avengers. This was in the early 1960s, and Honor was about to make history. The show was supposed to have a man as the lead, but when the actor left, Honor stepped in. They didn't even change the script. She played the role exactly as it was written for a man. That made her character strong, smart, and totally equal to her male partner. People had never seen anything like it. Kathy Gale wasn't a damsel in distress. She fought bad guys, threw punches, and wore tight leather outfits that made everyone's jaws drop. The leather wasn't just for looks, it was practical. Honor did her own stunts, and regular clothes kept ripping. So the costume team made her a green leather jumpsuit that looked black on TV. It was tough enough for her fights, but stylish enough to start a fashion craze. People even wrote a song called Kinky Boots about her look. To get ready for the role, Honor trained in judo, a type of martial arts. She worked hard at a famous club in London and earned a brown belt, which was a big deal for a woman back then. She learned how to throw people to the ground, and she did it for real on the show. Her fight scenes were so good that they inspired other actresses, like Sigourney Weaver and Scarlett Johansson, years later. But her bold style caused trouble. In Britain, some scenes were cut because they were too shocking, like one where she used a whip. In America, entire episodes were banned because her leather outfits and confident attitude were too much for some people. Still, fans loved her. Women wrote letters saying how much they admired her strength, and men sent letters that sometimes got too creepy. The studio had to protect her from a few fans who tried to find her house. Honor's life wasn't all glamour, though. Her first marriage to a man named Bill Sankey was a nightmare. He was controlling and jealous, always watching her and trying to stop her acting career. He even wanted her to move to Canada and give up everything. Then she found out he was stealing her money. After 8 years, she left him in 1954, but the pain was so bad she had a nervous breakdown and needed hospital care. Back then, people didn't talk about mental health, but Honor got therapy and rebuilt her life. She learned to stand up for herself, and that strength showed in her roles. In 1961, she married again, this time to an actor named Maurice Kaufman. They seemed perfect together, even acting in plays and movies as a team. They adopted 2 children, Lala and Barnaby, because they couldn't have kids of their own. But their marriage had problems too. Honor's career was soaring, while Maurice's was slowing down, and that caused tension. They divorced in 1975, but stayed friends. When Maurice got sick with cancer, Honor took care of him until he died in 1997. After that, she decided to stay single for the rest of her life. She said she liked her own company and didn't need anyone else. That was a bold choice for someone who seemed so confident on screen. Then came her biggest role yet, Pussy Galore in the James Bond movie Goldfinger. At 39, Honor was older than most actresses who played Bond girls, and she was even older than the actor playing Bond, Sean Connery. That broke all the rules in Hollywood, where younger women were usually chosen. But Honor wasn't just a pretty face. Her character was a pilot who led a team of flyers, and she was tough enough to throw Bond to the ground in a real judo move. People loved her confidence and strength, but her character's name caused a huge fuss. Some American ads wouldn't even print Pussy Galore because it was too shocking. Honor didn't care. She said the name on TV just to mess with people. Her role changed how Bond girls were seen. She wasn't there to just look good. She was a leader with skills and a sharp mind. Honor kept surprising people. In 1963, she played the goddess Hera in Jason and the Argonauts, a movie with amazing special effects like giant monsters and skeleton warriors. She brought power and mystery to the role. Then in 1965, she showed she could do serious drama in life at the top, playing a journalist caught in a messy love story. She even tried westerns, starring with big names like Sean Connery and Brigitte Bardot in Shalako. The set wasn't easy. Bardot was going through tough times, but Honor held her own. She also played a kidnapped wife in Something Big with Dean Martin. On stage, she took on scary roles, like a blind woman in the thriller Wait Until Dark, and even sang in musicals like The Sound of Music. Her deep voice and energy wowed crowds, and she broke records with ticket sales. In the 1990s, when most actresses her age couldn't find work, Honor starred in a funny TV show called The Upper Hand. She played a bold, flirty woman named Laura West, and people loved her. The show ran for 7 years, proving she was still a star in her 60s. Even in her 80s, she kept performing, doing a one-woman show called Word of Women that told stories about amazing women in history. She was unstoppable, full of energy and passion. Honor wasn't afraid to speak her mind either. In 2002, she turned down a big honor from the British government because she didn't believe in the monarchy. She also called out Sean Connery for avoiding taxes while accepting a knighthood. And when Margaret Thatcher died, Honor said she didn't think Thatcher helped women in politics. Some people got mad, but Honor didn't care. She always said what she believed. Her personal life had its share of heartbreak. Raising her kids wasn't easy, especially while traveling for work. She felt guilty, always trying to be a better mom than her own parents had been. But her kids, Lala and Barnaby, and her 4 grandchildren loved her deeply. She lived in a cozy home in Sussex, England, and had a summer house in Maine. She cared about causes like fair trade and spoke up for what she thought was right. On April 5, 2020, Honor Blackman passed away at 94. She died peacefully at home, surrounded by her family. It wasn't because of the virus going around at the time, just old age. Her kids said she was beautiful, smart, and hardworking, with a voice like no one else. She lived almost 100 years, from a tough childhood in London to becoming a legend on screen. Honor Blackman wasn't just an actress. She was a fighter, a trailblazer, and a woman who lived life her way, no matter what anyone thought. So, what do you think of Honor's incredible story? Isn't it wild to think one person could do so much? If you loved hearing about her, hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about people who changed the world. Let's keep Honor's legacy alive together.